Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive.
Yeah.
If you, like us, are still kind of reeling from that Summerslam weekend.
Just chaotic, right? New champions, some very short reigns.
Yeah, exactly. So today, we're going to try and unpack WWE Monday Night Raw, hashtag 1680. This was live August 4th from Brooklyn.
Yep, Barclays Center. And look, our mission here is really to give you the shortcut. We're going beyond just who won or lost.
Right. We want to get into who's climbing, who's falling, the big shifts happening, like what's the real story behind the results.
We've looked at, segment reports, match details, backstage stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to piece together this whole post-SummerSlam picture for you.
And it is quite a picture. So let's get right into it, because there's definitely like a new world order emerging at the top.
The biggest tremor, obviously, Seth freaking Rollins, new world heavyweight champion after beating Punk at SummerSlam. Huge deal.
And he didn't just show up solo on Raw, did he?
No way. He rolled deep. A whole new crew, Braun Breaker, Big Bronson Reed, and the quote-unquote wise man himself, Paul Heyman.
They're calling themselves the Vision. It feels calculated.
Oh, very. And Heyman's intro, that was pure Heyman, calling himself the Go-Out, obviously.
Of course.
But then he calls Breaker the big dog, Reed the tribal thief.
Yeah, with the Shula Fala. What even is that?
Who knows? But he made sure to mention Roman Reigns wasn't there, called him OTC.
Over-the-counter Reigns, that's different.
Definitely. And saying Punk didn't hold the title long enough, basically trying to rewrite history from minute one.
And then Rollins grabs the mic. He wasn't happy with Brooklyn, was he?
No, he laid into them. For turning on him after Mania, for the CM Punk chants, the OTC chants.
He made it clear. He's the champion now, not Reigns, not Punk.
And he talked about the cash-in, right? How people backstage tried to stop him.
Yeah, said he always has a plan B. And apparently only his wife and Heyman knew about this one.
And now he claims the Vision has absolute power. That's a strong statement.
The very strong statement. But then, bam, LA Knight's music hits.
Yeah, Knight comes out, calls them idiots. Classic LA Knight.
He went right after Rollins, asking why he faked an injury if he had the briefcase.
And reminded everyone that he beat Rollins last with the BFT at Saturday night's main event.
The blunt force trauma, yeah. Knight basically said, I beat you, I'm next, challenging that absolute power immediately.
Which brought out GM Adam Pearce, and he seemed less than thrilled.
Yeah, Pearce was not buying Rollins' excuses or his refusal to face Knight.
So he just made the match. World heavyweight title, Rollins versus Knight, later tonight.
And Reed and Breaker banned from ringside.
So much for absolute power, right? Or at least Pearce is pushing back immediately, sets up a power struggle right away.
Okay, so that's the men's main event scene completely shaken up. But the women's division, just as much action, maybe even more.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the women's Intercontinental champion, Becky Lynch. She defended her title, came out to new music.
Sounded good, yeah. And she's looking for serious competition now.
And then Nikki Bella shows up. Unexpected return.
Whoa, really? And I bet that was friendly.
Not quite. Nikki called Becky a massive disappointment, said her husband's a liar. Really personal shots.
Ouch. How did Becky take that?
Well, Becky fired back about Nikki's film career, said she was in the hottest film, told her to stay away from her hot man.
Nice. And then
Becky just slapped her, considered the challenge, then slapped her face and walked out.
Wow. Message sent. Okay, What else happened with the women? New tag champs.
Yes. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they beat Judgment Day for the titles.
That's an interesting pairing. Bliss and Flair.
Yeah, their dynamic is unique. Bliss actually helped Flair get into the ring. And Flair mentioned it was her first "You Deserve It" chant she could remember, which is kind of wild given her career.
True. They seem hesitant to call themselves friends, though.
Right. They were like, no labels, no F word, but they're champs. Or they were briefly interrupted anyway.
Let me guess. Judgment Day.
You got it. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez came out. Raquel was like, Flair doesn't do friends.
Skeptical. Makes sense.
And they wanted their rematch right now. Adam Pearce apparently just went, okay.
So an immediate rematch. Did they win them back?
Nope. Bliss and Flair retained. Bliss got the pin on Perez after a Sister Abigail.
And the crowd was into it. You mentioned a hot tag.
Oh, yeah. The place popped big time when Flair got tagged in. And, they actually look like a proper team this time. Fewer issues.
Okay, so Bliss and Flair are champs. What about the women's world champion, Naomi?
Naomi came out full of confidence, had her title, and she wasn't exactly complimenting Brooklyn.
Oh, what'd she say?
Called out the smell, the construction, the trash, just classic heel stuff getting heat.
Right. And she's feeling confident about keeping the title.
Very. Said she'll stay champion, and she specifically called out Stephanie Vacher for their match in Paris.
Okay, setting that up. Any other challengers emerging?
Oh, yeah. Backstage, Io Sky was talking with the Kabuki Warriors, said she asked for a singles match against Naomi.
Interesting. So Io wants the title.
And Rhea Ripley was watching that conversation, hinting that if Io wins, she's coming for Io next.
Layers upon layers. Anyone else?
Stephanie Vacher herself confronted Naomi backstage later. Naomi hit back hard, told Vacher she'd make her hobble out of Paris.
Intense. The women's title scene is stacked. What about Bayley and Lyra Valkyria? I heard there was some tension.
Yeah, big fallout. Lyra confronted Bayley backstage, basically saying Bayley's interference keeps messing things up for her.
So she's done with Bayley.
Pretty much told her she wants nothing to do with her anymore. Said the partnership isn't working. That's a big shift for both of them.
Okay, so championships are chaotic. What about other stuff heating up? Grudges, rivalries?
Definitely. That Rusev versus Sheamus match was just, well, it wasn't really a match for long.
That's not into a brawl.
Instantly. Outside the ring steps, announce table. It ended in a countout, but they kept going.
Still fighting after the bell?
Oh, yeah. Rusev grabbed the shillelagh. Officials had a heck of a time pulling them apart. Pure hatred there.
Okay, intense. What about Dominik Mysterio? He beat AJ Styles at SummerSlam.
Yeah, Dom came out feeling pretty good about himself. Confronted Dragon Lee in the LWO.
Let me guess, bragging.
Declared himself the best luchador. Told Dragon Lee he needs to earn respect in the ring. Dom's really leaning into this persona.
And the rest of Judgment Day. They lost the women's tag titles.
Finn Balor and JD McDonough did a backstage bit, acknowledged the loss, but said they are still Raw's top tag team, beating everyone, trying to keep their own momentum.
But AJ Styles, he's not done with Dom, is he?
Nope. AJ found Dom later, said the clever trick at SummerSlam won't work forever, warned him he's still coming for that Intercontinental title.
Which led to Dom versus Dragon Lee, right? How did that go?
Dom won with a roll-up, but shenanigans.
Oh, like what?
Some masked guy called El Grande Americano showed up, then two more came out of the crowd.
What, 3 of them?
Yeah. One kicked Lee, helping Dom get the pin. It looks like Dom has some new mysterious backup.
Whoa. Did anyone help Lee?
AJ Styles ran down right after the match, kicked Dom out of the ring before they could do more damage. But yeah, Dom's got some masked giants now, apparently.
Okay, that's weird. What about Grayson Waller? He seemed annoyed with the New Day.
Yeah, Waller confronted them about being left alone against Sheamus last week, tried to get them a rematch.
Did Pierce give it to him?
Nope. Pierce gave Waller a match against Penta instead.
Huh. Okay. How'd that work out?
During the match, Waller tried to high-five New Day, who were doing commentary. They just ignored him.
Ouch.
And New Day clarified on air, Waller is not with them, but they support the new generation. So, shutting that door.
Did Waller win?
No, Penta won, and then Penta threw Woods and Kingston out of the ring, too. Just making a statement.
Yeah.
Man, Waller can't catch a break. And speaking of tough spots, Sami Zayn.
Yeah. Sami had this backstage interview talking about not using a steel pipe on Karrion Kross, saying he's aiming for a world title.
Trying to stay on the right path.
Right. But then the Sheamus and Rusev brawl spilled right past him. Sami tried to, break it up or help. Oh, no.
And he accidentally got clocked by Rusev. Just caught in the crossfire. Shows how hard it is to stay out of the chaos right now.
Yeah, poor Sami. Any other news bits before the main event?
Yeah. Michael Cole announced Gunther is injured from SummerSlam, out for an undetermined time.
Yeah.
Big loss for Raw.
Definitely.
Anything else. They teased John Cena's reaction to Brock Lesnar's return, which is happening on SmackDown. So stuff brewing across brands.
And matches for next week.
Yep. Sami Zayn versus Rusev. That should be intense after tonight.
You think?
Also, Naomi defends against Io Sky for the women's world title. And Becky Lynch accepted a match against Maxine Dupree, not Natalya.
Maxine. Okay, interesting. All right, so that brings us to the main event. Rollins versus LA Knight for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, and Rollins was definitely pulling out all the stops, did a low blow with his head, sold it like an accident.
Classic heel move.
And then he actually started tearing up the ring mat.
Yeah.
Exposed the concrete underneath. Looked like he was going for a stomp on the bare floor.
Brutal, but did he get to do it?
No, because CM Punk came out of the crowd.
What?
Fuck. Yeah. Ran in, attacked Rollins, caused a DQ immediately.
Holy cow, Punk's back and going right after Rollins.
Didn't stop there. Punk kept beating on Rollins. LA Knight got in Punk's face, furious about the DQ, but Punk just ignored him, completely blew him off.
Ouch. So it's chaos. What about the Vision? Weren't they banned?
Well, the match was over. Breakker and Reed hit the ring to save Rollins. Breakker speared Punk.
So the Vision takes out Punk.
They cleared the ring, stood tall over Punk and Knight, looked like they were asserting their dominance. They thought it was over.
What? There's a but, isn't there?
Oh, there's a massive but. Roman Reigns' music hit.
No, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns walked out onto the ramp. The place went absolutely insane.
I bet. What did he do?
He charged down, took out Breakker and Reed on the ramp, got into the ring, went after Rollins.
Yes. Go Roman.
Rollins managed to slip away for a second, but Breakker and Reed recovered fast, attacked Reigns from behind. Numbers game.
Ah, damn it. 3-on-1.
And it was ugly. Rollins hit Reigns with the stomp. Then Breakker hit this just destroying spear on Reigns.
Using his own move against him almost.
And then Bronson Reed climbed up
Yeah.
and hit not one, not two, but a triple tsunami splash on Reigns, just crushing him.
Oh my God. A triple tsunami.
Yeah. Officials finally came down, but it was done. The Vision just destroyed Roman Reigns.
Now, how did that end?
The final shot, Bronson Reed standing there, holding up Roman Reigns' brand new shoes that got knocked off, just holding them up as Raw went off the air.
Holding his shoes? That's chilling. What a statement.
An absolutely brutal, definitive statement from the Vision.
Wow. Okay, so just recapping. I mean, that Raw was absolutely jam-packed. Title defenses, new champs crowned again, return.
Multiple huge returns, yeah. New alliances, old grudges exploding.
It's a lot to process. So we hope this deep dive kind of helped you put the pieces together, to understand the shifts, the new power dynamics.
Yeah, trying to make sense of the sheer volume of stuff that happened. Because it really feels like the WWE landscape just got violently reshuffled.
It really does. So as we wrap up, here's something to think about, maybe kick around in your head.
Go on.
With Punk back, Reigns back, but both getting taken out.
Yeah.
And the Vision standing tall, claiming absolute power. What is the future of the top titles? Who actually controls things now? And I mean, what's the cost going to be for anyone who tries to challenge them?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Chaos seems to be the only guarantee right now.
Yeah.